Recent polls indicate that the 2024 presidential race has become highly competitive after a series of tumultuous weeks. Vice President Kamala Harris's rise has shaken up the election landscape, dampening the momentum former President Donald Trump might have gained following the Republican convention and the attempted assassination. Although Trump had established a lead over President Joe Biden after their recent debate, this advantage has nearly disappeared in the latest surveys since Harris emerged as the presumptive Democratic nominee. The latest polling data highlights the dramatic shift since Biden withdrew last Sunday. Previously, the race seemed settled, with Biden facing a modest deficit that was expected to worsen post-debate. However, the dynamics have now changed. Trump still holds a narrow lead over Harris, but the race is now much closer than the Biden-Trump contest was after the debate. Recent polls from the New York Times, Siena College Trump +1 over Harris, The Wall Street Journal Trump +2, and CNN Trump +3 all show a tightening race, compared to 6-point Trump leads in the same polls immediately after the debate. It's challenging to determine if opinions of Trump shifted due to the assassination attempt or if he benefited from a boost following the GOP convention and his selection of Sen. J.D. Vance, R. Ohio, as his running mate. However, deeper analysis reveals that Trump is perceived differently now than before the assassination attempt. Meanwhile, Harris has closed the gap with Trump, performing better among traditionally Democratic groups where Biden had struggled. The change in the Democratic candidate has resonated with voters and has, at least initially, restored some traditional demographic support patterns. Before the debate, Biden faced difficulties maintaining support from key Democratic base groups, including young voters, Black voters, Latino voters, and other reliable Democratic supporters from his 2020 campaign. Harris has managed to regain some of that lost support. For instance, in the New York Times Siena poll, she is performing better than Biden among young voters and voters of color while maintaining similar levels of support among older and white voters, where Biden's numbers were more stable. This doesn't mean that Trump's gains have completely vanished. Harris still lags behind Biden's 2020 performance among young voters and voters of color, and Trump is outperforming his 2016 and 2020 numbers with these groups. More voters now express favorable views of at least one candidate, with fewer indicating they'll be reluctantly choosing in November. After months of heading towards a disappointing 2020 rematch, the election has suddenly become unpredictable. As the Harris-Trump contest begins, it appears to be a close race.